2.
Hello audience, my name is Joe McCall, and this is me and Will Ward's capstone project on discussing what urban agriculture is.
Why urban agriculture, you may ask? Well, it's the root of modern civilization, dating back to the Fertile Crescent, where the origin of domestic plants and animals from all over the world branched out from Europe's cultivation of wheat and barley to the very complex growth of white rice in Asia. But there is one place that shines above the rest, a place where pride is really taken amongst themselves over their agricultural advances. And that place is the United States. But there's a particular part of the U.S. that contains a very unique school that elevates agriculture to a different level. Opened in 1943 as Wissahickon Farm School, later renamed the Walter Biddle Saul High School of Agricultural Sciences, is a very interesting high school in the neighborhood of Roxborough, Philadelphia. Saul is one of the largest agricultural farm schools in the United States, as well as it happening to be one of the only agricultural high schools in Philadelphia School District. It also is one of the largest FFA chapters in the state of Pennsylvania. As for now, the way the work gets done at this farm school is through its 2 dairy farmers as staff members, and the rest of the work is finished by students.
My name is Talia Parr. I'm one of the co-managers of the Weaver's Way Farm at the Saul Agricultural High School. I've been working in agriculture for about 4 years, and I've been working with Weaver's Way for the past year. I got interested in agriculture when I was living in Kansas, and I was a member of a CSA there. A CSA is a program where people can subscribe to a farm's produce and they pay up front, and then they get a box of that farm's produce once a week. So I started getting interested in local agriculture, tasting how much better the food was, and really enjoying having a relationship with my own farmer who was growing food for me. So I started volunteering at that farm where I was a CSA member, and eventually they hired me, and that's how I got involved in agriculture. The hardest thing about agriculture is there are so many different variables that you can't control. Weather is the obvious one. Last year was one of the wettest years in Pennsylvania history, and it was really hard for farmers, both in urban settings and in rural settings. We had a much lower crop yield and our sales went down last year. There's also all sorts of pressure from pests, whether they're insects or mammals like deer and groundhog. And that's actually one of the things that's really powerful and helpful about a CSA is it's a way for members of a community to support a farm. So because our customers subscribe to our produce up front, they're sharing the risk that comes with farming. So if it's a good year and we have lots of produce, then they get extra produce, no matter how, even though they didn't have to pay more for it. But if it's a bad year, then they're sharing that risk. So it helps us out in the difficult years, and it lets us share the bounty in the profitable years.
My name is Joseph Gurnius, and I am a senior at Saul High School. So our normal day as seniors starts with 2 academic classes and a lunch, and then that leads us up to about noontime, and then we go into our ag classes, which is for the last 3 hours of the day.
Yeah, so knowing that you're in the animal science major, what led you to choose that major?
So I always had an interest in animals and a love for animals, so it just seemed to be a good fit. I actually was debating between horticulture and animal science, but I ended up choosing animal science just because, you know, we're out there working with dairy cows, working with the horses, and even with the small animals like the mice, rats, sheep, guinea pigs, dogs, all that stuff. So it just seemed like the right fit for me, no question about it.
So what does urban agriculture mean to you personally?
Urban agriculture is a opportunity for people who wouldn't otherwise get the opportunity to experience agriculture to really get exposed to it and possibly find their passion in doing so.
I first encountered urban agriculture when I moved to Philadelphia about 3 years ago. I think that it's any way that people are growing their own food in an urban space. So that can be a bigger site like our farm here at the high school, which is like 2 acres. It can also be someone with just a community garden that's shared with a neighborhood. It could even be someone just growing in containers in their backyard. It's a way for people to feel connected to growing their own food and eating things that they have grown themselves, who live in an urban environment where it's more difficult to do that because you have less land access.